You're listening to the Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. TheSlowRidePodcast.com and on Twitter at TheSlowRidePod. Enjoy the ride.
Hello and welcome to the 259th episode of the Slow Ride Podcast. This is Tim in South Minneapolis.
Hey, this is Matt, also in South Minneapolis.
And this is Spencer in Boston, Massachusetts. You guys, I can see you both and you're in the same room.
This is a big day. I'm very excited. I'm back on the porch with the little guy. We're almost where it all began. Now, Spencer, I need you to do me a favor.
Okay.
On my way, walking up to little guy's residence today, I posted a photo on the Slow Ride Podcast Instagram account.
Okay.
I want you to describe to our listeners what it is that
Let me just
what
pull
I was
this up.
confronted with when I saw. Like, this is the environment, this is the atmosphere I walked in. I walked into the nest, the hive, right into like I was a little nervous walking in here.
I can see why. All of a sudden, I can see why. There's a lot of. It looks like little guy is maybe a treated his front walk to the climb on the tour.
Yep, gave it the tour treatment.
It got the treatment.
Other people get out the bunting for the 4th.
Yeah.
For July, I like to get the sidewalk into the mood of France here.
Now,
Right.
Now, what I was first confronted with the Kobo
Yeah.
shocking.
I
And
see
was
this.
Like, I shed a little bit of a tear, right? I kind of got a little like, all right, well, that one's going to really hit little guy hard when he lost his Vuelta win.
It's tough.
The next one, though. The next one I have a lot of questions about. It says Freelanda.
Yeah, free Landa, man.
Now, last time I checked, Landa was pretty much off the leash.
Well,
I think he's as free as he's ever been on the Movistar team.
yeah, no, I just like that one. I thought it was funny.
So
he's
just as
free.
a segue, like, do you just think that it's not Nairo's tour anymore?
It's not Nairo's. It's not Nairo's year.
Little guy, when we were talking about the podcast topics earlier today on the phone, or maybe it was yesterday on the telephone. Maybe it was when we were at the park.
Yeah.
You were saying that you don't think Nairo will ever win a Grand Tour again.
I'm on that boat now.
At what point did you think that? Was it last year's Tour de France?
No,
was it at some point like stage 6 this year? I mean, I was the one. I'm the biggest Nairo cheerleader.
Yeah,
that's well known. And yeah, it just did not look good when they attacked a few days ago.
Yeah,
we're recording this on the second rest day, but when they attacked a few days ago,
Yeah.
and he didn't respond. And then Robbie McEwen and Matt Keenan were trying to come up with excuses of, oh, maybe that fall hurt him too much. I was like, man, you guys are nice. You guys are great announcers. Way
He's
to let the
blaming
guy have an escape.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's also going to a small French team, so I think that plays into the never winning a Grand Tour.
That's the bigger
thing.
red flag, yeah.
That's when you know you're going out to pasture, when you're signing for the small teams.
When he pulled a Greipel.
Yeah.
Okay,
See,
so we got the free Landa.
Yeah.
Now it has been pointed out a couple of times by listeners of the podcast on our Twitter account about why no one is talking about someone else from Movistar who has slipped into the top 10. Kind of silently slipped into the top 10 to another impressive feat for being 39 years old. And of course, we're talking about Alejandro Valverde.
Yep.
Just a few spots behind, just a couple minutes,
Yep.
still within attacking distance. 8th place, 5 minutes down even.
Yep. He's there. It could happen.
Yeah.
So
I
mean,
what do you think?
I'm looking at this graffiti that is all over your walkway, and I just have really one question.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the artist? Was it you or was it Tom Boonen?
Well, I know you guys think a lot of little Tom B, but he can't spell or anything yet. Really? So it was me.
But he could draw the geometrically shaped syringe that was pointing at Lance Armstrong and Alejandro Valverde's name.
He could have,
Now,
but he didn't.
Spencer, I uploaded this before I got to the staircase into the house.
Yeah.
Where there is about 10 mentions of Pinot. Just like that stage 6 at the tour this year with Pinot forever.
Well, once you hit the steep ramps, that's when you want to start writing Pinot all over the place, because that's where he's going to really dance on the pedals. You know?
I know, little guy, you have been basically living, I don't know, like in ecstasy for the last about week at the Tour de France. This is
Who hasn't?
Is this the greatest Tour de France in your opinion, or the best Tour de France in your opinion?
It's the greatest since 2011. I think that's
because that's when Bardet and, let me see if I remember, Jean-Christophe Perrault was on the podium?
No.
JCP?
11 is when Vogler had his moment. When we had the same tour, and then Cadell won. So I don't know who's playing the part of Cadell in this tour.
Richie Porte.
That would be weird.
Spencer, do you remember the 2011 tour?
Yeah, I do. I do.
So is this... Were we podcasting then? Because is this when we were? Is this when the question was, will Vogler make it all the way to Paris in the yellow jersey?
So what we're doing is, it's super popular in Hollywood right now is the reboot of previous movies, franchises that have sort of fallen by the wayside, and what the ASO has done in 2019 is try to reboot the 2011 tour, which was the last great French hope. So they've got Alaphilippe cast in the role of Tommy Vogler.
Good casting.
Yeah, excellent casting.
He did have the Vogler face a couple of times on these stages lately with the tongue out. And
the casting director for this is amazing.
I think he's absolutely up for an Academy Award.
So do we know who's playing the... It's got to be then Geraint Thomas, right?
I don't know. I guess. Spencer, what do you think? G?
Well, see now...
it doesn't really work storyline-wise.
Right. We need a non-previous winner, right?
Yeah.
So we need to dig into our archives and see who it is. Porte is the obvious connection with the whole Aussie thing going on, but I just
6 minutes.
I just don't think that is the answer. I think that is, our directors, the ASO, have put a lot of time and effort into the casting, and I don't think they would go for the easy.
Maybe it's got to be Kreiswick.
Well, I was gonna say it could be Fuslang or Iran. Fuslang's been around a long time, so is Iran. They're both kind of, they're always there, but they're not quite as quick in the mountains, a la Cadell.
Let's just Iran is not coming back. That was a disaster.
Now,
5:33.
No, the way that he blew up, it was not looking good. Well, I'm sorry. I wanted him to do well, but it just didn't look as hot.
For Iran to do well in this gritty reboot of the tour that we're doing here for 2019, what we're going to have to see is a mountain stage in week 3 in which he has some sort of mechanical issue. The mechanic leans out the window of the car and just undoes the derailleur cable to his rear derailleur and just keeps him in that 11 so that he just has to grind it out. And then that way he'll just power on to the finish and take a bunch of time back. So
yeah, that seems to be what works for him. Just like how I believe Barguil has to break his hip to be good. I think Iran, you just got to actually get him stuck in a gear.
You brought it up, little guy. I put a lot of points on roller derby on Barguil.
It's coming. He's gonna come good. And, there's 3 big mountain stages coming.
Still letting me down in the French national kit, but he was looking good the other day going full Schleck. Spencer,
he's right there.
What is the biggest surprise of the tour so far? And will this biggest surprise still be relevant when the at the end of the week on Sunday?
I can answer both of those definitively. The answer to your second question, will it still be a component to this tour at the end of the week, is no, absolutely not. It will not, because the revelation...
Let me guess what the first part is.
Okay.
So you're saying that the biggest surprise of the tour so far is not going to be relevant next Sunday. I'm going to say, is it Alaphilippe in yellow?
Oh, that's good, but no, that's not what I was thinking. I'm thinking my biggest relevant for this tour is was unfortunately Wout van Aert.
No, it's true. Not really anymore.
That was like I poured some beer out when I saw that. I was at my dad's 50th or 70th birthday party getting ready for it, and when the crash happened, I was very, very disappointed.
You guys watch it? I didn't watch it. I just heard and I didn't want to watch it.
I didn't want to watch it.
but
it was all over my Twitter feed with the GIFs.
I've avoided it so far. I'm sure it won't last. But
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for anyone to crash and take themselves out of a race. That's never good. It's never good to see a pretty grisly crash like that, a preventable crash. A lot of people, including myself, would argue. But maybe worst of all is that you lose somebody like that during a time trial stage, which really just is the most boring kind of stage on earth.
And that's the only reason why we were watching it was for him.
Yeah.
It's just insult to injury.
But, I mean, I'm just disappointed because he only has one Tour de France left before he never wins a stage again.
Yeah.
Before Mathieu van der Poel comes in and just ruins all the fun for everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's got next year to try and go for that green. He knows he can do it. He knows he can hang with all these guys when they're all in peak form. So I think the confidence will be sky high when he comes back. But, he's got a ticking time bomb named Mathieu van der Poel that he's going to have to deal with.
So, little guy, there was a time right after Yellow Lotto won the team time trial.
Yeah, on
and
stage 2.
Mike Toonson got dropped.
Yep.
And there was a moment where Wout van Aert could have gone into yellow.
Yep.
I think it was like stage 4 or 5. Will that be the closest Wout van Aert ever gets to yellow in his career? I'm like, is he going to look back at this and say, that was the moment that I could have been in yellow and my team messed it up?
He'll get it, I think. I don't know.
All right. Well, I was really frustrated. I'm kind of like Team Yellow Lotto is doing amazing things, like very exciting for them.
Yeah, they're riding well.
They're riding very well.
Yes.
You've got that Kreiswick, the snowman, looking good. He's a Grand Tour winner before.
I feel like everybody forgot about him. Like you may as well call him a Grand Tour winner because he was until the snow.
Until Nibali happened.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if everyone's press conference today on the rest day, no one was talking about winning. Like all these guys in the top 6 who are separated by a whole 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Everyone was just saying, we're just aiming at the podium. Like nobody wants to, like even those guys.
Going for the jugular?
Yeah, no one's really, it feels like going for it. Maybe Pinot a little bit, but I feel like everyone's like, well, I see the podium.
So has anybody done the math on, like how much did Pinot lose that one time when he went to the left of the roundabout?
He lost 140.
140.
So he'd be 10 seconds down on Philippe.
Yes.
Yes.
It would be a very tight race. Pinot, like I said 2 weeks ago, that I was shocked that FDJ came here to race the Tour. After that team time trial on stage 2 or whatever, they did really well. Pinot did not lose 8 minutes like I expected him to, and he was in contention. And I said, they're here to race. And then the next episode, 1 week later, I said, well, they FDJ'd it up, and they are not here to race after they lost a minute 40. But now they're back. They're back to race.
Oh, yeah, they're back in the mountains for sure.
Now, little guy, for Pinot, there's 2 summit finishes left, right?
Yeah, and there's some downhill action.
Is there downhill action? That's what I'm a little curious. Like, is there downhills that we got to hold our breath for Pinot?
He's a good descender now. He's no Alaphilippe, though. That's the thing.
So, oh, man, it would be great if Pinot wins, right? I think that, it'd be fantastic.
I mean, I think I like all these guys. Really?
Well, I mean, here's the deal: is every media outlet and every podcast and every NBC Sports highlight package and with Horner and Van de Velde and whoever, they're all going to be talking about one thing. They're going to be talking about, is Alaphilippe the real deal? Can he win the Tour? And so I don't really want to go down that road. I just want to close the book on that and say, no, he's obviously not the real deal. He's not going to win this Tour. Shut up. Wow. And then we can move on from this. Do you guys agree or disagree with that?
I totally agree. Yeah, absolutely. Put that down and say, bet the house on it. The Slow Ride Podcast does not think Alaphilippe could win.
I really want to hold out hope.
That's a old...
yeah, I really want to believe.
A Slow Ride guarantee right there. That's like next level super rookie guarantee.
I don't want to bet against it. He's good right now.
I think it would be great to see Pinot win, but I think that we can't overlook the fact that Ineos has 2 in the top 6, and they have a defending winner, and they have probably the Moto Man making some deliveries in the Jiffy bag.
Well, I think the thing about Pinot is, as we know from the Giro last year, is he gets sick. And this happens in a lot of tours. He's a human. He has bad days. I was thinking about this today as I woke up with a little scratch in my throat and felt a little tired on the rest day myself, and was like, uh-oh. And I just worried. Like, Pinot was really good in the mountains when it was kind of cool, and he even admitted that. Like, he's better when it's cold than when it's hot. And if it's really hot in the Alps, he's gonna wilt a little bit.
Can I? Well, maybe. I don't know enough about his body type.
Well, that's why he did the Giro so much and skipped the Tour all the time, because he doesn't like the heat as much.
Well, let me go to this though. I don't think there's one rider in the top 6 that I'd be disappointed if they win the Tour.
No, I think they're all deserving. They're all right there.
Like all 6 of them, I'm like, oh, that would be a really cool Tour winner.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what happens the next 2 stages or the rest of the week. Like, even if G. Thomas wins, I'm like,
no,
I kind of like that guy. He's not a total douche.
Are you sure you don't want to push that out to top 8 there, Tim?
I know, 7th and 8th place, I would love it, but they're so far out, Spencer, that Landa's 454 down, and Valverde. I mean, I would love a Valverde victory.
I'd say top 10.
Okay.
Top 10. I want Aranda to win, really, but it's not going to happen.
So
even how many tours have we had lately where the top 6 are within just 2 minutes, basically, and then even all the way back to 12th to it's only 6 minutes. You know, I don't know. We are like 7 minutes to Barguil. Like, we have many tours where like the second place rider was 7 minutes down, and we were trying to convince ourselves that it was still interesting.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
No, it's gonna happen. Yeah. I'm gonna watch it. It's gonna happen.
Oh, the race for 2nd and 3rd is really good, though.
There's gonna be a Landis attack.
Yeah. We don't have to lie to ourselves this year to enjoy this. That's the best part of this tour, is that I can be honest with myself and still watch the race. I don't have to pretend like I'm enjoying watching and like every day tell myself, no, Sky's not going to dominate today. No, this is going to be fun.
So
I'm not wasting my time missing a bike ride.
Yeah. Speaking of, though, Sky/Ineos/G Thomas hasn't looked particularly good. He's looked fine.
Are you talking about the gradient kit, or are you talking about the riding?
We have already discussed the kit at length. Yeah. We know that is not looking great, but Thomas has put his money where his mouth is as far as form and kit matching, aligning.
I am a little surprised by like his willingness to say that other people can win the Tour. Like, he's trying to like build up the excuses on why he hasn't won to Mr. Moneybags.
Doing it. Everyone's doing it. That's the thing.
I still think he's playing the old Lance card. He's running it a little tight. Like, this is a little too close for comfort for the 500 points I have on roller derby on Geraint Thomas. But I mean, overall, I think that
you think psychological warfare?
I'm thinking so.
Okay.
They have 2 guys in the top 6. I mean,
the
only team there's 2 teams that have looked really, really good. One is executed, and one has just looked really, really good. And as a friend of mine, Simon in London, texted me the other day, he said, is Movistar just subcontracting out to Team Ineos? Which is kind of a good point, because Movistar now has had 2 stages where they've just been drilling it at the front, and then when the going gets tough, they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of their thing.
So Movistar's look good, but then it's Yellow Lotto, who's been looking fantastic. George
and
Bennett
FDJ.
and Duplumes, or whatever his name is. Yeah, you know who it is.
Duplus, I think.
Yeah, he's looking good on the front. Those guys looking good, even though Wout went home.
Yeah, they're doing it for Wout, riding for Wout. I think the problem for all these guys is that they have the same feeling I would have when I'd show up to a race and I'd look around and like Bergman and Doug wouldn't be there. I'd be like, oh no, I could win. And then you get really scared because you're like, if I don't win, I'm going to be kicking myself because this is my one chance to win. And they're all
the Carlos Soler.
Yeah, they're like, Froome's not here.
Carlos Sastre.
This is my chance to actually win this thing. And if I don't, I have to live with the fact that I miss my one chance to win the Tour, you know? It's hard to admit that to yourself, but it's probably the truth for a lot of these guys.
I think the only one who has reached out and taken the reins on that at all in any way, shape, or form is Pinot.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what about this, Spencer? We're 19 minutes into the podcast, and we haven't even once mentioned Emmanuel Buchmann.
And that's how he likes it. He's just hiding out there.
Is he the new Zakarin? Is he the new... I mean, what can we equate him to in this movie reboot? Is he the new Heimar Zubeldia, just kind of hanging around in the top 10?
Yeah.
Silently?
I don't know who got 4th in 2011. I can't even remember. That's kind of where I see him. He's put in some digs, but yeah, he's...
It's probably Bauke Mollema.
Might have been Mollema. Nah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Buchmann's riding really well. He's climbing great.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's got a pedigree of that. Like, he's been on the radar before. I'm not totally surprised to see him up there, but I'm a little impressed. Yeah.
I overall am pretty stoked on it. Let's get into some of the other small little things that maybe are some surprises that are coming through. First off, King of the Mountains jersey, Tim Wellens, currently in the lead over Pino. Wellens actually looking pretty good in that polka dot kit. I like the polka dot helmet. Spencer, can you remind me your thoughts on the polka dot helmet and if you approve of that? Like when do we stop at the polka dots for you?
I approve of everything polka dot. Helmet, gloves, bike, socks, shoes, any other accessories you want, as long as you leave the bibs alone.
Okay, and have you ever seen like polka dot bar tape? Does that exist? I'm just curious. I don't recall ever seeing it. Is that like what takes it to the next level?
I don't believe I've seen that. No, but I know back when we were with Ridley, we would just send white bikes, so they'd have they'd have to apply polka dot stickers to the bikes. Yeah, so that covered us for any young rider leader and polka dot leader.
It's a good double.
Speaking of young white jersey winner or white jersey leader and best young rider, we have Bernal in first, and we did have a little battle brewing with Enric Mas. I believe that's a little guy special right there. He's always picking up on Enric Mas. And
it's a good rider.
Guy, what happened? All of a sudden, he's 30 minutes behind. And I can think of one, Julian Alaphilippe, who would love to have some assistance in the mountains. Yeah. And you think it would be Mas.
You would think, being that he was supposed to be the GC guy, you think he could at least help out. Maybe he'll be good this coming week. He doesn't look like it. I mean, man, there's a lot of big guys who've blown sky high.
Speaking of blowing sky high, how about this one?
Yeah.
How ready is France for a Marc Madiot Tour de France victory by one of his riders if Pinot wins? He's already put out the videos of him just screaming at a television screen,
sitting
watching
on his
Pinot.
Couch, yelling.
I mean, I don't think France is going to be able to recover from that.
Oh no.
That sign of approval.
Generally, they're not going to be able to recover. Did you guys see the photographs of the Pinot Matteo press conference here on the rest day? Looking really relaxed and comfortable, both of them, chilled. Yeah. And he's got his arm kind of around Pinot, who just looks like a father figure. It's very casual. I like it. It made me think that they feel very good.
Tranquilo.
They're very tranquilo.
They're
the definition.
Some of the biggest proponents of French cycling for some time. I mean, you little guy, you've been on this bandwagon since day one. I've just been a Movistar nerd fanboy, but
thanks for admitting.
But it's just, I mean, it is great to see. And then Spencer, green jersey.
Yeah.
Peter Sagan climbing the mountain the other day, signing a book.
Yeah.
Trying to some noob running next to him, trying to get him to sign something. Must have seen my videos of getting Chris Horner to sign my jersey at a cyclocross race. Back when Chris Horner was cool. Spencer, Peter Sagan.
Yeah. Is he the real deal?
Anything cool like on him? Or is it kind of old hat at this point?
I think this Sagan guy, we might hear about him more in the next few years. He could have a bright future in front of him. He's got a good hold on the green jersey. I think he could pull this off. He might be a name to watch.
Pretty fun stuff.
Maybe.
Did all the Specialized teams, did they get out on their e-bikes today, little guy, for the rest day?
That annoyed me so much.
I know it annoyed you, but I got to admit, that was a pretty good ad campaign for a rest day that they all out there on their
in a
e-bikes.
way it is, but it's a doping product. I mean, I don't know if you're a farmer.
It's a doping product.
Can you ride an e-bike in a race? What is it called? It's called mechanical doping.
Yeah, but you can go ride a e-bike. Like they're all. Have you ever been on one?
I don't think e-bike and hidden motorbike are the same thing.
Come on, little guy. Like it's
a slippery slope, man. Next thing you know, people are gonna be marrying toasters. Think about it.
You're just mad because all the KOMs are gonna be taken by people on a e-bike.
Yeah, I'm old and grumpy, and e-bikes bug me.
This is Abby Mickey from Rally UHC Professional Cycling Team, and you're listening to the Slow Ride Podcast.
This podcast is supported by Health IQ, a life insurance company that celebrates the health conscious, including cyclists. Visit healthiq.com/WAP to learn more and get a free quote. or check out their life insurance FAQ page to get your questions answered. Now, guys, you know me. We've talked about this many times. They've been good friends of ours, Health IQ. It's very simple. If you're a healthy individual, which you probably are because you're listening to this podcast while you're out riding your bike, maybe wanting to do your own Greenway story, you can just head on over to healthiq.com.
It's my copyright.
And you /WAP, and you can save money on your life insurance because they take into account your exercise, what you're doing to your body, and how you're keeping it healthy. So you actually are less of a risk for the need of life insurance, so you can get a better quote.
Yeah, they've been awesome. They've been great forever.
They've been here since day one. We're stoked for them. Thank you, Health IQ, for your continued support. Hey, go to healthiq.com/WAP.
We are also brought to you today by Whoop. The Whoop strap is it's a heart rate monitor, wrist worn, that is totally changing the way that people track their fitness and optimize their training. What it does is it connects with an app on your phone, and it provides you insights to the heart rate data that it collects, and helps you make better training habits and perform optimally on a daily basis. It detects your workouts. It provides a strain score. It quantifies how strenuous that training was on your body. It includes a sleep coach that looks at your sleep performance and lets you know what's going on there. And you can get as in depth with this as you want, which is the best part about it. Is if you just need green, yellow, red, like how am I doing, good, better, best, or if you want to really dive into numbers, you can set it up either way. The app can be very user-friendly, very simple, or it can be very user-friendly and complicated as far as how much data there is available. So what we are offering is 15% off of your subscription, 12th or 18th month, to Whoop.com. So you head over to Whoop.com, pick out the strap you want, the heart rate monitor, that is free, and sign up for the membership and save yourself 15% by using the promo code SLOWRIDE when you check out.
It's an awesome device, and I have several friends now that have picked one up, and both from tech savvy, like analytic nerds, to the most basic friends that I have from when it comes to technical
don't make fun
stuff.
of me.
Yeah, and they can look at that green, yellow, red on when their strain scores and everything are coming in. So, very cool device. Thanks, Whoop, for your continued support.
Also, we're part of the Wide Angle Podium Network, a family of cycling and cycling adjacent podcasts. If you like this show, check out wideanglepodium.com. Most likely you will find some other shows there that you will enjoy as well, and you can also consider becoming a member and donating to the network to support what we're doing.
That's right. And Spencer, I don't know if you saw this, but did you see Wide Angle Podium member Mitch Docker doing the guerrilla broadcasts of the different tour stages on Facebook Live?
I did.
Really into the attacking while in the drops on the mountains. I loved it.
And how could you not be? It's so good. Yeah. In case you missed it, pop on over to Life in the Peloton Facebook page, and you can see those commentaries that Mitch did live over the top of the Tour de France stage. It is some pro level insight, and I mean that literally.
Yeah. And as a friendly reminder for all those Wide Angle Podium listeners, we're also going to be up in Madison for the Trek Cyclocross World Cup. Come hang out with us. A lot of people coming up. We got listeners from around the country flying into Madison to come party with us and watch some top-notch bike racing, which features the first equal prize list in World Cyclocross World Cup history. So pretty awesome. So with that, I say we get back to the show, guys.
Tim, it sounded like you said top knot cycling. Does that mean everyone's going to have a top knot in the race?
Yes, it is.
Oh, cool.
Underneath
all right.
their helmets.
Well, that's something I want to see.
Yeah.
A lot of baristas in that race, huh?
This is Mitch Docker, and you're listening to Life in the Peloton, also the Slow Ride podcast afterwards.
Pronunciation, smunciation.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. 5 stars from Semi Chill. I love the meandering discussions, loosely centered around bike racing. Listening to your podcast is the highlight of my commuting week. Keep it up, guys. Well, thank you, and we hope to have you continue to be around, Semi-Chill. Thanks for the love. Let's make your commute maybe a little bit spicier, a little bit better. I don't know if the commute is driving. I don't know if the commute is riding your bike. Maybe it's sitting on public transit, but there's definitely, there's got to be something we could do to make it a little bit more exciting for you.
Oh, well, here's what you do. You look to your left. You see who's over there. Whether if you're on the train or the bus on your way to work, if you're stuck in traffic in the car, see who's over to your left. What do you cast them in the 2019 Tour de France? Who are they playing? Are they reprising the role of Cadell Evans? Who could it be? And then look to your right, do the same until you've fleshed out your cast of characters. I think that's a good way to pass the time.
That's a good way. I mean, who are the Schlecks?
Yeah. Who are the
Who
Schlecks?
are the
You know,
Schlecks?
Bookman might have to be one of the Schlecks because he was going full Schleck in the mountains the other day.
And
for a little
Bargill
bit.
was going full Schleck, and he's also way off the back. But you would think that the Yates brothers would actually be the good Schlecks.
They would have the best,
because
but
they're twins.
yeah. But again, they've had the problems of one
Yeah.
of them is off the back and one of them's winning stages.
Yeah. But it was a great stage win.
Yeah.
Hey, gents, I was pretty stoked to hear you acknowledge my show review the other day. I love what you guys do. I hear pod after pod about Klein bikes. While this is no Klein, would the attached 1996 vintage Pro Flex be worthy of a mention? It can still hang with all the fancy crap out there. All the best, Tandem Boy. Now, little guy, Spencer and I had this one in the last couple of weeks, and we reserved
Oh,
it
you
for
held
you.
this for
We
me.
held this for you.
Thanks, guys.
Are you a fan of Pro Flex?
Oh yeah, they're great.
Now,
looking.
we are looking
I've never
at-
ridden one. But
We're looking at this Pro Flex bike, which has some of the craziest features I've ever seen. But the first thing I want to bring you up to, the rear suspension on the seat stays.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Are you a big fan of this kind of... would you get a Pro Flex over a Climb?
Well, I already got a Klein, so yeah. I mean, I'm down for the ProFlex. I want one. I've definitely always wanted one.
Do they have... what's their eBay cost looking like usually?
I don't actually know.
You
They're
don't have an
locally for like you can sometimes find frames for $200 to $300 depending upon which crazy Gervin fork it has on it. I mean I don't know if you can swap out that old elastometer rear shock for something with a little bit of tunability, but they look sweet. I mean that linkage fork, right? The goofy fork, man.
Yeah. So we got a couple other emails here, but little guy, I'll have to just say this about ProFlex. I'm going to do a little bit more research. I still don't think it takes a cake on a Klein just because of the pure paint jobs.
I mean, yeah, the paint jobs aren't there, but they've got the goofball factor. The nice thing is they're almost all now in the hands of as Spencer and I would call them townies.
Yeah.
From when we were in Moab, and everyone was like riding a downhill bike to the store, but it was an old downhill bike, so it was trash now.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you guys about I saw a ProFlex downtown and someone had taken out the rear shock? The elastometers were like melted away as they do, and put in a block of wood to make it into a hardtail, basically.
Wow.
They like bolted in a block of wood where that would be to keep the bike. I'm assuming from just like bobbing around like crazy.
Like they didn't.
pre
So
that.
they were like, "Oh, we're gonna take out the elastometer." How could you like? Was it a wood painted?
Well, like the whole
same
shock, it
color?
was just like a chunk of a 2x4.
just
They
placed
just
it
sort of
there?
like I don't remember how strapped it in, but anyway, so that the rear end wouldn't
Was
move
there a
around
zip tie
so much.
involved?
There probably was some duct tape. It was great. It made my day.
Yeah. So, I remember kind of a tangent just talking about zip ties. I remember when I got my first bike and I was going to work as a courier, or not my first bike ever, but I was working my first courier bike. I had a Surly Crosstrack. You guys may remember this.
Oh, that's
And
before the Terranaut?
Yeah, oh yeah. Because Terranaut was when I wanted to look cool with you guys, but
Yeah.
I got the Surly Crosstrack because I thought that's
That
what
worked,
couriers
right,
use, the
Spencer?
bar end shifters. Spencer was totally into what I was riding all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I got one of those fenders, like those plastic Planet Bike fenders that kind of wraps around your seat post, and you it kind of like
A
snaps
clip-on
in.
one,
Yeah.
yeah.
And rubs
Yeah.
all the paint off.
And I was worried someone was going to take it, and the guy at the bike shop was like, "Oh, just put like 3 or 4 zip ties around." So he put a bunch of zip ties so someone couldn't come up and just take it. But then I realized that someone could just bring snips and then get my fender. But then no one ever has taken a fender of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So Anyway, we got another great email. This one comes to us from Mark Westcott, all the way in Melbourne, Australia. So we'd like to thank our Australian listener for chiming in. Oh. And this stems from when I was talking about Robbie McEwen and the other guy calling the race. I am now a complete fanboy. And he let me know that it's Matthew Keenan, is a Melbourne local, big supporter of junior development, cycling safety and infrastructure, and growing women's cycling. And Spencer.
Yeah.
And little guy, he included the video. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see this, of the camera positioned inside their booth.
Yeah.
When they're calling Caleb McEwen's Caleb Ewan's victory.
Yeah.
On stage like 11 or 13 or whatever. Stage 11, sorry. That is some of the, like, they are so professional in the way that they're doing it. They got all like, they're pointing at each other, like who's going to speak next. Everything was great.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Okay, we'll watch that tonight.
Right, it'd be nice to see their flow, how they do it, because they are really good.
Yeah, take some notes.
They are the best.
Take some notes. We've been doing this for over 5 years, 260 episodes almost now. That's 260 hours of content, and we are nowhere near that level of professionalism.
But the thing is that did you like he has obviously kind of some prepared notes, but like the call that he had when Pino won the stage and Alaphilippe got second at the end the other day, and it was on the same day as the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, and he said
That's true.
one big step for Pino, one giant leap for Alaphilippe or whatever.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Like, it was so well done. And meanwhile, folks listening to like Phil Liggett and Bob Roll calling Dylan Toonson Wout Van Aert, and it's so embarrassing. Like, I bet you the viewership would go up if they got rid of Liggett within like a year. Like, it would take a year because, like, you know, Uncle Phil, you don't really want to see Uncle Phil go out to pasture. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm sorry. Like, Matthew Keenan and Robbie McEwen need to be, for the future of the sport in our country, they need to be the ones doing the live call. It is fantastic. That much better than anything else out there.
No, I agree.
I'll agree.
And the infighting that has been relayed to me between Christian Vandevelde and Chris Horner, I heard is just ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people like just kind of
I haven't watched
chiming in like,
stuff.
"Are you watching this?" I'm like, "No, I've refused to," because I found the best announcing tandem in the last 29 years.
I wish I could remember which stage that Robbie and Matt had a good. One of them said something about somebody being the greatest cyclist ever, and it sounded like they were leading up to just a boring conversation about Merckx or something. And then the other one was like Marina Voss, and then they talked about Voss for a minute, and it was pretty nice. It was a really good. They sort of kept it secret, and then they snuck it in that they were going to talk about women's cycling. I was like, oh, very well done, guys. She is the greatest current cyclist there is, and you made it sound like you're going to talk about a guy. It was nice.
Hey, guys. Full Schleck story. Well, kinda. Well, maybe not a full Schleck, as you gents put it, but it's a full Schleck story. Cheers, Colby. P.S. I have a house that's for the Snowshoe Mountain Bike Race in West Virginia. If anyone wants a place with decent size, hit me up. Colby, we may take you up on that. But he links us to a story, Spencer. You can't see it. Little guy's here reading in studio with me. Of the Secret Pro, the old Cycling Tips anonymous pro rider. And basically, it is about how back in 2011, Andy Schleck took a massive solo win on the Galibier and set himself up to take the yellow jersey from Vogler. It was a super impressive ride. Andy was a magnificent talent, and he was simply an overgrown kid. All he ever wanted to do was part of the gang. The next day up the Alpe d'Huez, Andy took the yellow jersey from Vogler, and as always, the entire village at the top was a massive party. In particular, there is a chateau full of Luxembourgers celebrating Andy's yellow jersey that he just couldn't stay away from. He was out all night on a massive bender and was the most popular man in the room. The next day was the time trial in Grenoble when he lost the jersey to Cadel by a minute and a half. Go figure. I did not know this. This is how Andy Schleck lost. Little guy, how does that make you fan? You're a big fan of the Schleck,
I was a big fan of the Schlecks. It's faded through the years. I'm not surprised that sounds like
the old Luxembourg curse. Just kind of, count your chickens before they hatch.
The old Schleck curse. I believe that. That sounds about right for Andy.
All right. Well, guys, we got finally the last text message. This comes in from longtime Wide Angle Podium supporter. Question for the pod. This has obviously been the best tour in years. If World Cycling Production was still cranking out recap videos, would you purchase this year's recap? Dare I say, a World Cycling Production top videos draft corner? Spencer.
Yeah.
As our expert on World Cycling Production videos.
Yes.
I would call him more like our mole.
As our mole, would you buy the 2019 World Cycling Production DVD? So I think the assumption is that you can get everything on YouTube. You can get everything on on demand. Would you still buy the DVD and find a DVD player to play it?
So here's the thing. Now, it depends on what you're talking about, because this year's tour is not over yet, but it's been great. It's been fantastic. Now, World Cycling Productions would always put out 2 editions of the Tour de France. They would put out a 5-hour, 4-hour edition, and a 20-hour edition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I would not waste my $20 on a 5-hour version of this tour. I'm not sure yet if I'd spend the $80 required to get the 20-hour version, but I'm close.
So
yeah, it's a lot of good trainer time. Think about it, all next year, winter, right?
Different stage winners every day. No clear victory being ridden away with at this point. It's got everything that I need for good trainer fodder. You're absolutely correct.
So the World Cycling, I just want to live in this alternate dimension that World Cycling Production still exists. And just for the sake of this conversation, Spencer, I'm going to assume that you still work there.
Okay.
I am now asking myself, would I accept the normal, unmarked test DVD of these videos?
Right, yeah.
From you that were so graciously hand scrawled Sharpie marker Hetvoke 2009.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know which side to put down on the DVD player.
And you also, the best part was Spencer would, because World Cycling Productions had this horrible habit of putting the winner of the race on the DVD cover. Right?
Yeah.
So it was actually good when you got a Spencer edition.
Yeah, you didn't know.
Because you didn't know. Especially all these years later, I'm I don't know who won 2009.
Don't look it up, just watch it.
So now I'm going, would I buy this one? I don't know. I think I would. It's pretty good. But I do think that Chuck has a pretty good idea that we should go take a walk down memory lane in the last few minutes here of the podcast. And talk a little bit about our favorite World Cycling Productions videos in a segment I like to call Top Corner, Draft Corner. And Spencer, 3 picks each.
3.
You, Spencer,
I already got 2 right
is
there.
our designated World Cycling Productions expert. You probably still have some back issues of the catalog that every USA Cycling member got mailed to them. You're pawing through. You've dog-eared pages of various BMCs and Lapierre's and other bikes. Spencer, what is your first pick on the Top Corner Draft Corner for World Cycling Productions DVDs?
My first pick. Who's going second here in our draft order?
I'll go second. I'll give the guy a little bit of time to think.
Then I know what I'm getting.
Okay, what do you get?
I'm going 2002 Paris-Roubaix.
Ooh.
I need
2002.
I need the Hincapie falling off the edge of the ditch. I need Boonen, the helper, riding away to a podium position. I need a Museu victory. I need a classic muddy Paris-Roubaix.
Okay, not a bad pick. It is the coming out party of one Tom Boonen. It's kind of like you feel like it's like the indie rock DVD before before you really see a good one. That's good. I will go next. I'm going to pick the double feature. I really like the double features that I would get in the back.
That was the best bang for the buck.
Catalogs. Oh, yeah.
Spring Classics.
But the one I'm going for, of course, is Stars and Water Carriers and The Impossible Hour.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Great movies. Spencer, the 1972 Giro documentary of Stars and Water Carriers, but then also Merckx and the Hour record. It is the only Hour record that is somewhat exciting to watch, as you just have Merckx back to back 2 CDs for the price of 1.
I've never even watched that one.
Oh,
That was good.
Oh,
They're
that's
good.
that's such a quality pick. That's a deep cut, but
Get your
I'm an
old.
expert.
Get your old. Is it Ole Ritter? Or is his name Ole Ritter?
Yeah. Ole
Ritter. Yeah. Always Merck's your shadow.
All right, what do you got, little guy? What's your first pick of the World Cycling Productions?
Well, obviously 1989 tour.
You probably still have that on VHS.
I think I have it on DVD.
All right, so 1989. This is a Greg LeMond victory.
Yeah.
It's been 30 years since you won a Grand Tour.
That's
amazing.
Yeah, I've heard that.
All right, 30-year anniversary.
Somebody
just by
told me
8
that
seconds.
somewhere.
You've cried a couple times watching this. Do you watch that DVD thinking it's going to change every time?
It's a tough one every time Fignon loses it. Every time they're going, there's like the transition scene before they go into the time trial, and they do something about like Fignon's kind of testy, and a reporter tries to talk to him. There's a little clip, and he's like getting off the train, and he like puts his hand in their face or something, and he doesn't want to talk to the reporter, and you know it's coming. It's heartbreaking every time.
Yes, that is very.
You know
true.
that saddle sore is really bugging him.
Yeah, so bad. All right, what else you got?
Man, this is tough, Tim. He's kind of sprung this on me. I've got the 94 Giro, and I really like watching that, so I'd probably get that again.
The 94 Giro. Tell me a little bit about what happens in that one.
Berzin's
Bugno?
good. Indurain's good. Indurain's a little off the pace. What I really like about it is on stage 3 or 4, little uphill finish in a little small Italian town. A young neo-pro named Davide Rebellin jumps off the front for a second, and every time I watch that, I'm like, yeah, he's still riding.
That's crazy.
So I like that part of it. Wow, Tim's zooming in
All right,
on pictures.
I've got
of
mine.
Giro.
My second pick. I just had to make sure this was the right one.
Yeah.
The 2005 Giro d'Italia. Spencer, 5 hours of cycling action.
Yeah.
So good because this is when Paolo Salvadelli
Yep.
made that epic descent. And what I like about this one is that it's 5 hours. You're not watching like the whole Giro and you know what's happening. But what I still remember, that was like right when we were getting into full-blown cycling fandom, and we could see what a good descender could do and how it could change the race. So I will never forget the Salvadelli victory at the Giro.
That was a good race.
It was very good.
That was good. That was a fun one.
This
is great because I can see what Tim's lining up for his next one, and it's just like, what do you got, Spencer?
Yeah, this is going 3 deep on these videos is
hard.
interesting,
really
you guys.
There's some good ones here.
I'm gonna go with like I often do. I'm gonna go with a theme in my picks here, and I'm gonna choose 2005 Flanders. This is a Tom Boonen victory. This is a world champion stripe adorned Tom Boonen. It is the peak. It is peak Boonen, and I love it. I was so excited when he won that race. I love watching it every time that I see it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good
2004
one.
Flanders. Anything with a little Tom Boonen action, I do not blame you, Spencer. That's an okay one. We'll let you get away with that.
Peak Tom Boonen glory there.
That is peak Tom Boonen glory.
Whoa.
And what's your third pick, Spencer?
Okay, that's where we're on. Third round.
Okay, so
God, I hope it's the Landis. The
that was also
tour.
his first Flanders victory, which was great.
Yeah.
Keeping with my theme, I'm gonna pick 2005 Paris-Roubaix.
Oh wow.
Now this one,
Is this Stuart O'Grady?
no, that was boring. This is also a Tom Boonen victory.
Yeah.
This is when he did the double.
Yeah.
This is incredible. We're still in peak Tom Boonen, and this is my favorite era of cycling ever. And now you might be interested to know the podium at this race because we had one George Hincapie in second place, and we had one Juan Antonio Flecha in third place.
Oh yeah. Okay.
How
Can
did
you
Hincapie
imagine?
get that second place? Was he like solo? Did Boonen win a sprint?
It was a sprint. They all at the same time.
Is this when Hincapie didn't attack at the Velodrome?
That's every time.
Yeah, okay. Just curious. All right, well, Spencer takes the Boonen double there. I will go into my last pick. One of my favorites. I will never forget this day because on September 27th, when it was happening, my brother was getting married, And it happened to be one of the final days of the 2003 Vuelta a España. Back when the Vuelta, the leader would wear the golden jersey, which I loved before they went to the lame red. And this is when Heras went on the attack, and Igor Gonzalez de Galdiano of Once on the giant bike popped in a way that I have never seen someone pop before. It is sad. It is tear-inducing.
Well, his bike didn't fit him, and he's on a lot of weird drugs. So,
but to see Heras just climb away in that, I don't even know if it was a mountain time trial. All I know is to see that gap just open up between Heras. I mean, Heras, the rider of the people. You knew that he was going to go to his own Spanish team a few years later and become the team leader, and things were just going to be so great. The future was so bright for him. Then, of course, it all came collapsing down. But I love that 2003 Vuelta. I'll never forget that because I was like best man for my brother, and I was just hoping that we could delay the best man speech like a little bit longer. Like I went missing to watch the end of that in my parents' basement.
I was going to say, how did you do that? Yeah, it was great. Not like you could just pull your phone out or something.
No, I was watching on Versus.
Yeah, wow.
Or maybe it was Outdoor Life Network.
It might have been OLN at that point.
Yeah. So what do you got, Logan? What is your final pick for the World Cycling Productions victories?
Gosh, I don't know, man. This is tough. Yeah, I know. Tim's got some suggestions for me here, but they're not tugging at my heartstrings. I'm trying to think of the ones I have that I turn back to again. Ooh, kind of would like to go with that. That'd be nice. You know, I think I'm gonna get something I don't have currently. I'm gonna get this 2 races in one, Liège-Bastogne-Liège and Flèche Wallonne from 2009 for some Rebel in action. That's when he did.
That's right. Is this when he won the Ardennes, and then wouldn't they throw in like a little hour too?
He didn't win all 3 this year. This is the year he won one of them, or maybe I don't remember. Anyway, he's gonna be there. It's gonna be great. He's gonna look like Tintin.
He always looks so good in those races. Well, the World Cycling Productions DVD is such an important part of our life. And Spencer, I've never thanked you fully for just the wide collection that I have.
No, you never have.
What that's done for my cycling fandom.
They're in a pile in my attic.
I might dust out the DVD collection at some point here.
I think we can give a bonus round selection to the 2019 Tour de France.
I think so.
Yes, it is looking so good and so awesome.
Would have been on all our draft lists if World Cycling Productions were still around.
Well, we'd like to thank all of our listeners that hit us up with emails. Make sure you email us at theslowridepodcast@gmail.com. You can also tweet us and Instagram us at theslowridepod. We'd also like to thank the members and supporters of the Wide Angle Podium Network for their continued support, for allowing us to bring together some independent cycling media along with our friends at Cyclocross Radio, Bike Shop CX, Life in the Peloton, The Consummate Athlete, and also over at the Gravel Lot. And with that,
close enough. This
is Tim in Orlando, Florida.
Nope.
But in Minneapolis.
This is Matt in Minneapolis looking at Tim in Minneapolis.
And this is Spencer in Boston, Massachusetts, reminding you to always wave at all your fellow cyclists that you see out on the road.
The Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. TheSlowRidePodcast.com and on Twitter at TheSlowRidePod.